wrote the same story as a novel and as a comic, and if you're wondering what's wrong with me, I actually talk about this in a previous video. In this video, I wanted to talk about working in two different mediums, and I just want to add that I also have additional perspective of working in movie industry, so I kind of touch movie industry medium as well. So from this perspective, what are the major differences of writing a novel and making a comic? First similarity I want to highlight though is that you don't need anyone to create either a novel or a comic. Obviously, if you can't draw, you will need an artist for your graphic novel, but if you can do both, you don't need anybody else. First thing that I want to highlight about writing a novel is that it is cheap. It is the cheapest way of storytelling. You just need a word editor, you don't even need powerful computer. This is not the case with a graphic novel, especially with a graphic novel like mine that is in full color and very high detail rendering. It's something like Photoshop that is not as cheap. For my comic, I need a very powerful computer. This is my Mac Studio. Each of my individual pages is approximately 2 gigabytes, and I have to have several pages open to make sure the colors and everything is consistent. Then the speed. You can write a book pretty fast. I wrote this book within a year and a half, and I've been writing my comic for 12 years, and I still haven't finished the amount of story that is this book. Looking at this page, in the novel, you will just have to say these lines of dialogue and say something like, "My mother kisses me on my forehead and her fingers glow." Maybe like you add some embellishments in between, but it takes 10 hours to draw this page. Even this page that doesn't have any illustrations in the book, I just can type these words, but in the comic I have to create a bubble, I have to create a composition, I have to choose the colors. You just have to be okay with the fact that if you're creating a story in a graphic novel form, it will take very, very long for you to tell this story. And the last thing that I want to mention today is the thing that actually changed over the past several years. Before, writing a novel had been very prestigious versus writing a comic was like, what? I mean, a book made you an author, and it already implied that you are extremely smart, extremely educated, you know how to write, you're very, very, very literate. When I was starting to work on my comic, you didn't even say graphic novel, you said a comic. The word comic doesn't sound that serious. When I would say I'm making a comic, people would assume I'm making some superhero story. However, things have changed in the past several years. Now the novels, like when you automatically say I'm a writer, I write novels, it doesn't necessarily comes with the prestige it's used to. And why that happens is a whole conversation of its own, but this is the fact. Now they feel like the novel itself lost a little bit of its prestige. However, with graphic novels, I feel like prestige of graphic novels went up, especially with critically acclaimed work like Saga or Monstrous. We started to realize that graphic novels has a lot of capability to tell the story, which all us comic creators knew for a very long time, but now general public starts to understand it, and then manga is becoming more and more known in Western world. Thus, the respect for comics has grown. That's it for today. If you would like to get my comic pre-orders open right now.